Okay, we're up to the fourth aliyah. And God spoke to Noach saying, now in the fourth aliyah, when it says and God spoke, it's using Elohim. And we've discussed this in depth. That Elohim is the aspect of, let's say strict justice. Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your son's wives with you. Now, this is like the first time in a year, it seems, that God spoke to Noah. Can you imagine how distraught he must have been? He had this unique relationship with Hashem, apparently the only one in his time period that had this relationship, and then all of a sudden for a year and a half, a year or so, the whole world dies, all the animals, and then he doesn't even get to talk with God, except for now. Oh, oof. Go out of every living thing that is with you, of all flesh, of fowl, and of animals, of all the creeping things that creep on the earth, bring out with you, and they shall swarm upon the earth, and they shall be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. Wait, does anybody think that they're just supposed to stay in the ark? Anyways, it's kind of interesting that God would have to say this to Noah. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. So you know what? It's like Noah really, 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 really could not think for himself. I don't want to sound harsh, and I know people are going to tell me I'm a heretic, but it just seems that way from the straight reading of the Parsha that Noah, this specific type of personality, he needed to be told everything to do. It's like he didn't have his own he didn't really have so much of his own input in anything, right? He just did whatever God told him whenever God told him to do. He didn't say, hey, knock knock, hey God, come on, talk to me. We see that other people in the Torah speak to God more openly than Noah. So which is why the Meforshim and the Midrashim and ever some sources kind of say that about Noah. They sort of hint there, they kind of say it explicitly that he wasn't, he was an amazing human being, obviously, because God selected him, but he wasn't up to the level of Avram Avinu, for example, who fought and argued with God, and even Moses had arguments with God. So that's an interesting conversation that Judaism does go into. Okay, so Noah went out, his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives with him, every beast, every creeping thing, and all the fowl, everything that moves upon the earth, according to the families, they went out forth from the ark. So obviously, we already know that. Okay, so what does Noah do? And Noah built an altar to the Lord. And here we say Mizbeach le Yudke Vavke. So he's building it to the aspect of rachamim, not to strict justice. Kind of interesting. And he took out all the clean animals, and of the clean fowl he brought up a burnt offering on the Lord. Now this he did of his own, this burnt offering of the clean. Now, how did he know? How did he know which animals were clean, and how did he know how to do the shochet? How did he know how to shechet? There is to do ritual slaughter. That's something he had to be trained to do. So why would he need to, there's no kosher rules yet. He's not even Jewish, and only Jews have to keep kosher. So I don't really understand the Hebrew nation, which are Jews. So I don't really know what's going on here. And then he knew to do. He did this on his own. So this is one thing that Noah does do on his own, that he doesn't wait around for God to give him instructions on. And the Lord smelled the pleasant aroma, and the Lord said to himself, I will no longer curse the earth because of the man, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, and I will no longer smite all living things as I've done. So it's the imagination. It's not that it's not us ourselves. We're not evil. We're not evil. Human beings are not evil. We're not born evil. And it's not even us really specifically. It's our thoughts. It's the things that we think of, and things that our creative minds could be quite evil. I don't think I need to give any examples. If I just say one example, people will say, well, what about this? Because there's so many horrible examples of how horrible we are to each other throughout all of humanity, right? So even Cain was the first murderer, right? So we don't, we could just list, there's hundreds, so many thousands of tens of thousands of examples of horrible human beings, but they're not evil. They're not born evil. They're evil from their youth. In other words, even in their early childhood, they're not evil. And I will no longer smite all the. So this is super important Torah here. This is very super important pasuk that has a lot to do, and this isn't even about Judaism. This is, again, Noach isn't he isn't a Hebrew. He's not considered Jewish. Noach himself represents all humanity. So we're talking about the essence of the human being here is not evil from birth, according to the Torah. Okay. So as long as earth exists, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. I love it when the Torah gets poetic. And God blessed Noach and his sons, and he said to them, be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth. Now, we already got this blessing. So is this a second blessing? How many blessings do we really need over here? But we really need a lot because there's nobody around. And your fear and your dread shall be upon all the beasts in the earth and upon the fowl of the heavens, and everything that creeps upon the ground and upon all the fish of the sea, for they have been given into your hands. So, but wait a minute, what did the fish do? Like, why? What, the fish are really scared of us, and too as well, but also the animals. Okay, every moving thing that lives shall be yours to eat, like the green vegetation. I've given you everything. Here's a verse where Maimonides, Moshe Rambam, states that this is where we got the assure, the permission to start eating meat, because before that apparently human beings were vegetarians, and which is why, or vegans, vegetarians, which is why we were able to live for so darn long, right? Because people were living for hundreds and hundreds of years, and then eventually we're only going to get to live to 120 years, and now we say Ad Mea Esrim, right? So but this comes from this verse that all of a sudden humanity as a whole is given the right to eat meat. But flesh with its soul, its blood, you should not eat. So even all of humanity is supposed to. It apparently seems to be that we were supposed to drain the blood of animals before you eat it. Now we know that not every person does that, so we have to kind of think about that. But your blood of your souls, I will demand an account from the hand of every beast. I will demand it, and from the hand of man, from the hand of each man, his brother, I will demand the soul of man. So we're not supposed to murder anybody. We're not supposed to like kill anybody. We're all brothers. We're all brothers and sisters. According to the Torah, it doesn't matter your skin color, doesn't matter your language, doesn't matter where you're born on the planet. We're all related to each other. So why the heck are we fighting with each other? And we shouldn't do it. Whoever sheds the blood of man, through man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God he made man. This is an essential concept, not even in Judaism. This is an essential concept in the Torah. It has nothing to do with Judaism at all, because Noach, again, isn't Jewish. He's not even Hebrew. He's just was a person on the planet who was given 7 Noachide laws. This is very, very famous, very, kind of well known. And one of them is we're not supposed to murder each other. We're not supposed to go around killing each other. We're supposed to live in harmony with each other and in harmony with nature and with animals, and we're allowed to eat animals if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to eat animals either. There's no like mitzvah, there's no commandment that you must eat animals. You don't have to. You could be a vegetarian all you want, and you should be fruitful and multiply, swarm upon the earth and multiply thereon. So go out, we're supposed to go out and we're supposed to, have babies, and, and the animals are supposed to go get pregnant. Like, come on, get with it, like get on the program. Don't worry, I'm never going to blot out the earth again. So, it says that specifically through rain. So maybe there'll be, another extinction level event that's going to happen that has nothing connected to rain. It says specifically, later we're going to hear about the whole rainbow thing that says, I'm never going to destroy the earth through a flood. But that kind of leaves the door open that God can destroy us through other means, because there have been other extinction level events. Even the paleontologists will tell you that. All right, we'll see you in the next aliyah.